Good morning, everyone. As she has announced, my name is Rocky. That name developed in the beauty industry. My name is Rakia Polk, and my family calls me Kiki. But all of my clients and all of my colleagues call me Rocky, and y'all can call me Rocky. That's cool. So I am a cosmetologist. I have been a cosmetologist for about 16 years. I've been actually doing hair and making money in this industry for 24 years. Just like probably a lot of you, I started doing hair at home. It started with myself. Well, actually, it started with my baby dolls. Anybody else in here braided their baby dolls' hair, putting ponytails, gel them up, we try to make them look good. You pretend they going out somewhere and they, you make them show up and they look amazing. And so that's how I got started, just with my interest in doing hair and all things beauty, playing in my mother's makeup, polishing my nails, different things like that. And I'm sure that all of you all have that, a similar experience. I just want to stop and acknowledge the birthday girl. Happy birthday. I cannot not see you. So happy birthday to you. So today, I have not planned to do a demo. I feel like the thing that I want to talk about, which is more about hair and scalp theory, is and the reintroduction is more important. So before we get started, I just want to know, when I was in cosmetology school, we did phases. It was phases 1 through 4. How do you guys structure like where you are in school? What does that look like for y'all? I'm asking that because I want to know like where you guys are in your training. Oh, cool. So what phases are you guys in? Okay, so everybody except for the first phase. Cool. So everybody has been introduced to theory of the hair and the scalp in this room. Cool. So we are going to recap on hair and scalp theory. I'm gonna get started with my presentation. So I'm talking about styling with integrity. And this is important because we are experiencing so much more hair loss and scalp disorders. And a lot of the hair loss that I see in my chair is due to stylists whose hair has not been cared for properly in the salon environment. I'm seeing a lot of breakage. I'm seeing a lot of heat damage, over processing with chemicals and color, different things like that. So it's important to me that I reintroduce to you guys because y'all are about to be in a space where you are going to be manipulating your client's hair and their scalp and educating them about what they should do when they're at home, because we don't have control over everything that happens with our clients, and we got to hold them accountable too as well sometimes. So we're styling with integrity. I'm going to introduce myself and my business, what it is that I do. We're going to talk about things that I see currently in the industry as it pertains to the clients that I serve, what I like to call the cosmetology gap, hair and scalp theory, and why all of this is important to you and to your business as you progress in this industry. So again, my name is Rakia Polk, affectionately known as Rocky. I am a cosmetologist. I am a trichologist. I've been a trichologist practicing for 5 years. Anybody in here know what a trichologist is? Yes, do you mind?
Scalp doctor. Well, you studied the.
You got it. Yeah. Yes. Yep. You're right. You got it. So trichologists, we study the scalp and hair and how the hair grows and different things that affect the hair growth. We are not able to diagnose, so we are not doctors. We still refer our clients out to doctors. However, the more I learned in the trichology space, I'm like, man, we should all know this. We should leave out of this environment with the knowledge, most of the knowledge that I gained as a trichologist, because trichologists are not required to have cosmetology licenses. You can choose just to be a trichologist, and that's cool. However, in the position and the authority that you have when you leave this space, you are able to assist your clients and help them and direct them in the same way, but better. Excuse me, you have a question?
Yes, I'm sorry. I might be getting ahead, but have you ever help someone with like alopecia?
Absolutely. All the time. And I have photos. Did somebody else have a question? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How did you get into wanting to study the scalp and stuff like that? Like, how did you come about? Like, oh, I want to do this to get deeper into it.
Because of what I was seeing. So when I first became a cosmetologist, I assisted in a salon downtown for about 5 years. When I became a stylist, I was seeing clients who were transitioning from relaxer, right? Relaxed to natural hair. And I was also seeing clients who were battling with scalp conditions and hair loss. And I didn't know what to do. We hear a lot of times like, okay, oh, she just got a little stress spot. Okay, she got a stress spot. We know, but my understanding of stress spot is it'll leave and it'll come back. It'll thin out and it'll grow back. What happens when that hair is not growing back? How do you advise that client? What can I do as a cosmetologist behind this chair to help serve my client? I didn't even know that when my clients are dealing with certain issues, when I couldn't help them, to send them to a dermatologist. I learned that in trichology training. So that's what made me want to do it. And at the time, I would see a lot of, you can take this 3-day training to be a scalp specialist. You can be a hair health practitioner in 3 days. I didn't want to take that on. So I sought out a program that was lengthier so that I can take my time and go through the program and try to retain the information. So in addition to being a cosmetologist and a trichologist, I'm also an educator. I am a hair and scalp therapist. I'm an entrepreneur. A lot of times in the Black community, and I'm seeing it more and more just overall, we leave hair school and we go work for ourselves. We go rent a booth, and it's not just about, serving your clients. It's also about growing. How do I do better? How do I do more? How do I help these people and solve their problems? So when I say I'm an entrepreneur, honey, I do it all. Just like I'm sure y'all do it all. We marketing. We are building websites. We are communicating with people. I came in here and was like, hey, I am an educator. I would love to come and talk to you, to your students. I didn't know that they host events like this every Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know, but I came because I had a desire to be an educator and to be in a space where I can talk to you guys about my experiences so that y'all can do a little bit better, know more than I knew when I was coming out of school. So we're doing all of these things as entrepreneurs, as business owners, and that's important. And I focus mostly on natural hair. And when I say natural hair, it's the hair that's growing out of your scalp. My clientele base is African American women with tightly curled hair, and I love to do that. And that's where I see most of the issues in our industry. So we already talked about this a little bit, but I help Black women grow and sustain the hair of their dreams. I teach them the proper use and the importance of different products, tools, and techniques that they use at home. I chose trichology because I was good at it. I was on the block braiding hair for free. And my daddy was like, what are you doing? You need to be making money because you gonna tell me that you want some school shoes, school clothes, and I don't want to buy the stuff you want. So I started providing for myself kind of early, on that level. My family still fed me, but I was rocking all the fly stuff. Trichology, because I noticed that there was a need. I was working and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to serve these people. And the knowledge that I was getting from the people around me was very limited. I chose to educate because, again, I lacked a lot of knowledge coming out of cosmetology school. When I started styling, I was like, I don't feel like I know enough. And so I continued to learn more and to develop my skill set. And what next? My plan is to help you guys monetize on new skills that you may or may not be taught. Because again, I graduated in 2008. So that was a while ago. And there are new things, new processes, and new ideas being expressed. So what does being a trichologist mean to you? That's a real question. I don't know if any of y'all thought about that, but what does it mean to you guys to be a cosmetologist? I'm sorry. What does being a cosmetologist mean to you? I can tell y'all what it means to me. For me, it meant to be a problem solver. It meant to help my clients look and feel their best. It meant for me to gain the trust of my clients and to hold on to their secrets and create an environment where they can come and feel comfortable and good and be able to express all the different things that they want to express with no judgment. So I want to take about, I don't know, 2 or 3 people. If y'all thought about this, maybe you haven't thought about it. Anybody have a response for that question? Yes, I agree with all of that. And let's not forget about the money. Like, this is, I saved that one for last because there's so much more, right? But let's not forget about the money. The more you know, the more you can gain the trust of your clients, and the more they're willing to pay you to be able to, to help them in those ways. There'll be times where we will choose to, yes, I am going to go to the hospital or the homeless shelters and different things like that. And that's amazing. But we are here because we deserve to be here and we deserve to reap all of the benefits. So yes, relationship is one of them, but we gonna monetize too. All right, so the data reveals that there's a steady increase in hair loss, in scalp conditions, and also people that have decided that they don't want to go to the salon anymore because they're not being treated right, or the professionals don't know how to help them. They don't know how to help them. I mean, all of those things, a lack of respect. I hear so many things. People come to me sometimes just because I'm nice, and I'm nice on purpose. I have become this person because I want to help people feel good. When you come into my environment, I want to be, like that young man was saying, a safe space. You know what I'm saying? Come in here and, hey, we're going to have fun. We're going to talk. In addition to that, there's a demand for professionals who have more knowledge and are willing and able to communicate that knowledge to their clients. Sometimes we have the information, but when it's time to tell your clients why they can't get that color and relaxer in the same day and make it make sense, sometimes you just know that that's not what you're supposed to do. But if you can tell your clients, hey, your hair is made up of 3 layers. If I give you this chemical service, these 2 chemical services today, I can destroy your protective layer, which is the cuticle. When your cuticle is destroyed, your hair is going to continue to break off. Now, guess what? We don't have any hair to work with. You're going to be in extensions, or we're going to cut your hair really short. Are you going to be comfortable? What is that like for you? You know what I'm saying? It's important to be able to communicate this information to these clients. Okay, I said that already. Next slide. There are some stylists who solely focus on certain things, right? Hair color, extensions, after 5 events, weddings, different things like that. And that's fine. But it's important to know how to handle this hair, how to handle the hair that's at the scalp level, how to remove these things, how to communicate to your clients what they need to do at home in order to make them feel comfortable and to continue to build the trust of your clients. So the cosmetology gap. I call the cosmetology gap that once we get out of school, like I said, that space that I was in when I didn't know how to refer my clients to people that could help them, or how to tell them about different processes, products, and techniques that could help their current situations. When a client has severe dandruff and you done tried all the scalp scrubs and the sea breeze and the witch hazel or whatever that is, and you still cannot get a resolve, what do you do? And experience just has to tell us what that is. So let's go to the next slide. What do clients want? From my experience, clients want to be treated well, number one. They want information about what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what not to do. But the number one thing I hear all the time is they want to be treated well. So in sharing information within the cosmetology gap, make it make sense. Everything that happens to our bodies, inside and outside our bodies, makes a difference with our hair as well. So Let's think about it. Weather, seasonally. What happens in the wintertime? I know y'all know. What's happening? Dryness. Everything dry. Your skin dry. Your lips dry. Your scalp is dry. Everything is dry. Some clients don't know this. They don't know that, okay, maybe seasonally your hair may shed a little bit more. They don't know that there are certain tools that are not meant for you to detangle your hair with. There are certain foods that can affect your scalp and your skin. These are things that we can know. Now information is readily available. You can go on YouTube. You can use ChatGPT, ask questions. We have this information. Clients have the information too. But you have more information. You have more experience. You have dealt with more heads of hair than they have. So I just want to empower y'all today. You know what to do. If you don't know what to do, you know how to find the answers, as in what to do to help your clients. It all works together. So this is a picture right now of, can anybody tell me what system this is? What body system is this? The circulatory system. So the circulatory system circulates the blood throughout the body. So blood flow is extremely important as it pertains to hair growth. Every follicle has its own set of blood vessels. When that blood is flowing, it's also flowing in your scalp, and increased blood flow promotes what? Hair growth. Go on here. Who said that? Thank you, birthday girl. So it all works together. That's something that we need to know, and always remember that it works together. If you stressed out, I have a client who got divorced. She's been diagnosed with this form of hair loss called CCCA. Y'all heard of this one? CCCA is very, very I've seen so many cases of CCCA, y'all, and it starts in the middle. It's called centrifugal cicatricial alopecia. It starts in the center and it spreads outwardly. And if you don't get help soon, that's something we can't make that hair come back, y'all. Scar tissue develops in the scalp. When the scar tissue develops, the follicle is destroyed. You cannot grow hair when the follicle is destroyed. But if they go to the dermatologist can educate them and prescribe the medication. They come back to you. You can help them with those medications and the application. And you try to support them and keep their hair healthy as you can. That's all you can do. But you need the dermatologist for that one. But I said that to say stress can affect you in so many different ways. And it's going to affect our hair. So prepare. When we make a commitment to healthy hair and healthy scalp, then we are prepared to do any kind of service. You can get that color and still keep that hair healthy and on the scalp and growing if that's your client's desire. Not everybody wants to grow healthy. Not everybody wants to grow their hair long, and that's fine. But as a Black woman growing up, I thought my hair only grew to about right here. I remember my hair being down to my back, but then I got that relaxer and I started doing my hair myself. I wasn't shampooing my hair. I was 11 years old. I was not shampooing, so my scalp and my hair wasn't getting any moisture. But every day, honey, I had that gel, okay? I was slicking it down, pulling it to the back. It was on the side. Honey, that ponytail went from down my back to, I got a picture of the 7th grade. I should have put it in here. In the 7th grade, I had a ponytail to the side, and it was like this short. And I had a bald spot right here because I was constantly putting that ponytail in the same place. Anybody know what kind of hair loss that would be called? Traction alopecia. Traction alopecia can happen from so many different things. You can detangle your hair improperly or too fast or be angry and mad because now you got this hair, you don't know what to do with it, and you can tear your hair out at the scalp level. So it's important that we know how to communicate, prepare, get this knowledge. So when you see these people, you can tell them, let me tell you, I know exactly what you're doing wrong. Let me introduce you to a product that can help you with your detangle. Let me introduce you to a brush. You know what I'm saying? That can help. So that's how we prepare. All right. How y'all feeling so far? Good? Am I doing good? Does anybody have any questions about anything? Yes, go ahead.
Have you told the difference between beauty damaged hair that's like split off?
Okay. New hair growth and damaged hair that's split. So one sign you just mentioned is the splitting. If the hair is split, it's damaged, right? So as it pertains to curly hair, you have curly hair. That's one of the ways that I can tell. When my clients come to me, I always tell them, I'm responsible for what happens now. The hair that's on your head, I'm gonna do the best that I can to keep it. But the hair that comes out, that's growing out, is the hair that we are trying to make sure we keep that hair healthy, right? So when the hair is growing out, it's gonna be curly, it's gonna be wavy. It'll have a shine that damaged hair does not have. What are some other signs? That's pretty much it. Because as it's growing out, hair growth for different people is not, it's a slower process. So initially, as the hair grows, you're definitely looking at the hair at the roots. That's the hair that's going to be fresh. That's the hair that's new. That's the hair that you're expecting to be healthy, and then you keep it that way. But if you see any kind of splitting, knots, when you pull that hair out, I explain it to my clients like this. When you pull the hair out from the scalp, let's say you're doing a haircut or a trim, at the base of the strands, there may be more density. And then on the ends, you'll see where the hair is kind of broken off and it gets really, really sparse on the ends. That's another sign of breakage. You may not see any splitting because the hair can tear and sometimes it'll be a clean break. But if you see that disconnection in lengths, that could be a sign of breakage, unless, it could be a haircut that was texturized or something like that. Go ahead.
I had a client a few months ago who had like dime-sized bald spots all over her head, and she told me it was one, she was really embarrassed, which was really sad, but she told me it was from stress from
Yeah.
school. She picks at it or pulls it out, and I was just wondering, like, that feels like a little bit more delicate of a topic than like tension alopecia, something like that. How would you talk to that person? What would you recommend in that situation?
Okay. So she needs to de-stress. The conversation I would have would be one like, I would mention it, right? Like, hey, this looks like, some hair loss happening in the back. So she knew what it was, which was great because a lot of times people don't know. And I would just ask her, what is she doing while she's in school to de-stress? We would probably talk about different things that she likes. Talk about movement. Movement of your body is one of the best ways to de-stress. She can take a walk. It may be something as simple as listening to music. You have to find, so I relate to my clients. So when I'm stressed, I like to take a bath. So you can use your own strategies and connect with your client in that way. You can also suggest that instead of her pulling, that when she thinks that she wants to pull, she can get a rosemary oil, which is for hair loss, and put some on her fingertips and just delicately rub. And think about it as her showing love and self-care to herself instead of harming herself by snatching it out. Was that great? Anybody else? Cool. So we are going to go on to hair and scalp theory, which I already know that you have heard this, but hopefully I can give you a little bit more to add to what you have learned. So the anatomy of the hair strand. We know that we have 3 layers. You got the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla, right? So the medulla, who in here know what the medulla does? This is a trick question. What does the medulla do? Who said that? Say it louder. Nothing. We don't know what the medulla does. Not everybody has a medulla. Some people will only have those 2 layers, the cuticle and the cortex. So we know that the cuticle is the protective layer. The cortex is where all of the complexities of the hair is. That's where the color lives. That's where the structure and your curl pattern resides. All of those links, your disulfide bonds, the sulfur bonds, live in the cortex. Now, this is important because everything that we do can affect this makeup. Braiding, twisting, coloring, relaxing, pulling your hair up into a ponytail, detangling, all of these processes, heat styling especially, can affect what happens here. You break that cuticle, you expose the cortex. When you expose the cortex, your hair can no longer retain moisture, and it's bound to break off. Y'all see those fairy knots? When you get damage on your cuticle, the hair will turn and it will not. That means that you have elasticity issues. The elasticity is in the cortex. No, sorry. The anatomy of the scalp. So the three main layers of the scalp are the epidermis. That's what we see. The dermis, and then you have the hypodermis. In the dermis, you have the follicle, the sebaceous glands, the dermal papilla, and the blood vessels. Those are the things that I want to address today. So we already know what the follicle is. That's the pocket where the hair grows from. At the base of the follicle, you have the dermal papilla. At the base of the dermal papilla, you have the blood vessels. The blood vessels feed the dermal papilla. The dermal papilla distributes that nutrients to the follicle in order for it to be able to create hair cells and replicate them, and it grows upward. The dermal papilla also controls how quickly your hair grows. When the dermal papilla is damaged, and it can be damaged due to traction, friction, tightness of braids and ponytails and different things like that, then you can no longer grow hair once you damage that. Okay, your sebaceous glands secrete sebum onto the scalp. The sebum onto the scalp is an oil that acts as a protective protection on the scalp from different organisms that can come and disrupt your scalp microbiome. Any questions right there? Anybody know anything about the dermal papilla before I just said anything about it? Yes, y'all did? Cool. Great. A little bit. Cool. Did I give you a little extra? Yeah, a little extra. Cool. That dermal papilla is important. That is the powerhouse of your strand and how it grows. Okay. The scalp microbiome. The scalp microbiome is a network of organisms that are living on your scalp already. So it includes things like sebum, sweat, different bacteria, fungus, and viruses that just live on the scalp in a healthy, harmonious way. Okay. The two things I want to point out right now is sebum. So we know that sebum is the oil that is produced from the scalp onto the skin. Malassezia. Malassezia is a fungus that naturally resides on the scalp, but when sebum is overproduced, right? If somebody has an excessively oily scalp, that malassezia will feed on the sebum, and that will grow. And it produces, if y'all have ever seen it, that thick, waxy buildup of flaking on the scalp. It's oily. Yeah, it's oily. It flakes up. Sometimes it may not even, like, this kind of dandruff may not fall onto your shoulders. It'll just stay on the scalp. Yep. So that is an oily scalp condition, and it's called seborrheic dermatitis. That's a common one. Y'all heard of that? Seborrheic dermatitis. These two things combined make seborrheic dermatitis. I'm sorry, who said it? And can you say it louder, please? How do you treat seborrheic dermatitis? So it really all depends on what the cause of it is. Sometimes people just have a really, really oily scalp, so they need to shampoo more frequently. Sometimes people are not shampooing enough. So either way, you treat it by cleansing the scalp. But the type of shampoos and the different ingredients do matter, because you want to use something that's deep cleansing, but sometimes a clarifying shampoo may not be enough. You may have to use different ingredients like pyrithian zinc, coal tar, peppermint, essential oils, different things like that. There's also salicylic acid is another ingredient that is really good for flaking as well. It really all depends on the client. And so with that being said, don't be afraid. If you don't know something, let your client know, I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to try this. You pay attention at home. Let me know. How many days did you have to go, or were you able to go without the flaking? You know what I'm saying? And you work with your client in that way. Clients are looking for more. The more knowledge you have, the more your clients will trust you. This is absolutely 100% true. I have had clients come to me who've been seeing other people for years, and they come to me and be like, oh my God, sometimes in tears, because I just unlocked something for them that was so simple, but they had absolutely no idea what to do, and neither did their clients. Their stylists. All right. Hair loss. This is a client of mine. The technical term for hair loss is alopecia. Anytime you lose a hair, it's alopecia. Even if it's breakage, that's a form of alopecia. This particular client has that form of hair loss that I was just telling you guys about, centrifugal, cicatricial alopecia. Okay. And this is what happened over the course of about 20 years. This is how her scalp was affected. That's really all I want to say about that. As you can see, her hair is full and thick everywhere else except for that centerpiece. So y'all can imagine how she feels, right? She feels like she needs to wear a wig all the time, or sometimes she'll do, you know how people do them cute little head. She do what is it called? A turban, and she'll do them little African wraps. They be so cute, you know. But she came to me like, man, what can you do? I can't do nothing, because this is how you came to me. But I can give you amazing scalp massage. I can make sure that the hair that's on your head is nice and healthy and that it thrives. But that's all I can do.
I really just had a fight like this last night, and I feel so bad for her. Like, it's nothing we can. I just be massaging her scalp with oil, praying that some help.
And it might, but she's gonna have to be very, very consistent. And so the thing about this is, it's been 20 years. So you have to consider how long the hair has been missing. What they taught me when I was in school is average, the hair grows about 1/4 of an inch a month, right? It could be more, it could be less. 1/4 of an inch a month, though, means that you only getting about 3 inches a year. That ain't a whole lot of hair. And if your hair has been missing for 20 years, we got to get down into to those blood vessels with our scalp manipulation and massage to move those blood vessels. And so you never know how long that's going to take, you know. So I never guarantee my clients that I can grow their hair back ever. Now, sometimes they come back like, girl, what's that crack you put on my hair on the side? And I'm like, we did it. I always say we did that, girl. So hair loss is not only isolated to the hair on your scalp. Hair loss can also be on the eyebrows. It can be under your arms. It can be on your body. There are several types of hair loss. There are not several. There are so many different forms of hair loss, but 2 forms. Alopecia universalis is when you don't have hair all over your body. And alopecia totalis is when there's no hair growing on the head, right? There are so many, but it doesn't always have to be isolated to the scalp. I have had some clients who come in and they're missing hair on the eyebrows. So then when that happens, now I'm looking at the hair on their head just to analyze the situation and see if there is any additional hair loss. Scalp conditions. So there are so many different things that can affect your scalp and your body. One of them, more recent, is gluten. People are going like gluten-free diets and different things like that. There are some people who just cannot, because it'll do things like this. It'll cause allergic reactions in the body. It'll cause disruptions in so many different places, and you may see something like this. But this client does have seborrheic dermatitis. And when she comes back to me, this is what her hair looks like. But it looks like this because she refuses to shampoo her hair at home. So she comes to me every 2 weeks, faithfully, every 2 weeks. And I have a conversation with her and I'm like, you need to shampoo probably once a week. We need to try more frequently. But she refuses. So every time she comes back, this is what we have. However, she does say to me that before she came to me, she would experience flaking in 2-3 days. And now she can go a whole week or like 10 days without any flaking. So for her, it's a win. She like, I don't know what you talking about, girl. This just happened. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So is it a myth when they say if you don't shampoo your hair like dirty hair grow?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, right. And that's from the oils. That's from oils on your scalp. So when we talk about moisturizing our hair and our scalp, where do y'all think we get the moisture from? Water. We get the moisture from water. Your hair is absorbing, your scalp is absorbent. If you are never removing the oils that are on your scalp, then it could potentially just cause so many different things. However, when I was growing up, I told you I wasn't washing my hair like that, but it was breaking off also. Go ahead.
Why does dreads go so long?
Because it's an accumulation. Yes, it's an accumulation of shedded strands. So you know how our hair is going to shed. Your hair don't shed when it's locked up. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? No? Yes? Okay. All right. So this is where I want to just empower you guys to know what some of these things are. I put the technical terms up here for and how to identify it and things that you can do behind the chair to help with this. So this first one, trichorexis nodosa. That is the technical term for hair breakage. When your hair is breaking off, it's probably breaking off because it's dry, or it may be breaking off because you're tearing it up. It's trichorexis nodosa. Strands that break mid-strand, short or tiny pieces of hair that you may see on your clothing. When you see those short strands, that's breakage. The possible causes could be improper care as far as like detangling your strands. If you are not being patient, if you are not sectioning your strands, then you run the risk of tearing it up. Sometimes you need a little extra, maybe you want to put water or conditioner with some slip, something that's going to give that hair a little extra stretch and loosen it up. Possible treatment, trim. There's no way that we can repair damaged strands. It's just damage. You can pamper them and try to help it stay on the head. And I do that sometimes for clients who just want the hair to help them be comfortable as they transition to natural hair. To healthy hair. The next one is traction alopecia. We talked about that one. Traction alopecia is caused by traction. So pulling your hair too tight. Headbands can do it. Ponytails, braids. Sometimes I see weaves that are extremely tight. So that makes a difference. That's the cause. But it's thinning. Usually it's happening around the hairline. But I remember a girlfriend of mine got one of those sleek ponytails. And 3 days, she kept that ponytail up. And when we took it down, she had a bald spot where the ponytail was. Smooth skin in 3 days. There is no reason for you to pull anybody's hair that tight, ever. 3 days, she lost this much hair in the center of her head. So for traction alopecia, the way we treat it is you stop doing that. That's the best way. Just stop. And you want to stimulate the scalp. Telogen effluvium. Y'all familiar with that term, right? Telogen. Can y'all tell me what telogen is? Say it again. Yep. Which stage? Say it again. The third stage, but name it. What does that mean? Because you're going to tell your client, so that's the third stage of hair growth. It's the shedding phase. Yeah. So telogen effluvium is when the actively growing strands that should be um, in the active phase of growing, when they are forced into the shedding phase and they prematurely shed. The hair is not supposed to be shedding, but because of an imbalance in your hormones or an illness or a medication that you just had to take, your hair strands have been forced to shed. Hormonal imbalances, vitamin deficiencies, illnesses, things like that can cause this to happen. Treatment, vitamin supplementation, and de-stressing self-care, because a lot of times it's happening because of stress. A lot of times. Or it could also be female pattern baldness, where it's happening, like I said, because of hormonal imbalances. This last three is scalp conditions. So we touched on seborrheic dermatitis. It's that yellowish buildup on the scalp. It's an oily scalp condition. And the way we deal with it is frequent shampooing. And you can also do pre-poo treatments. Okay. The next one is eczema. You can have eczema on the scalp. Eczema is not isolated to the scalp, though. It can also be on your skin, and it creates itchy, rough patches. And it's a dry scalp condition that we could treat by using oils and also using gentle products. So I'm hearing a lot now about what is that term? Endocrine disruptors. Have y'all been hearing that as it pertains to hair care products and beauty products, endocrine disruptors? No? Well, there is a such thing as endocrine disruptors, and there are different ingredients that are being put into the products that we use. And right now there's a conversation going on about how these products are put into black hair care. These ingredients are put into black hair care products and causing different types of disruptions and skin and scalp conditions. Psoriasis. This is one that can also be on the body as well. It causes silvery red, patchy flakes on the scalp, and it's an autoimmune condition. Autoimmune just means that something in the body is saying, hey, we need to attack this thing. Sometimes it's hereditary, right? But they do have shampoos and different ingredients that can treat psoriasis. These are things that you can do in the salon for the different situations that I described. So for hair breakage, you want to do a trim, and you can also do a treatment. You can do a protein treatment. You got keratin proteins and you got whey proteins. You can apply this treatment with or without a cap under the dryer. Always follow with a moisturizing conditioner. When you do a protein treatment, it's always a two-step process. You should never do a protein treatment without following up with a deep conditioner or something to replenish that moisture. Protein treatments are strengtheners, and they harden the hair and they can make it dry. So you want to make sure that you replenish, God bless you, with a moisturizing conditioner. Traction alopecia, scalp stimulation. You can use essential oils for that. Rosemary and lavender are both really good oils to stimulate those follicles. And when you give yourself a massage with those follicles, you begin to increase the stimulation just by moving the scalp around. When you do a massage, you're moving the scalp. I heard a guy describe it as, he calls it scalp over skull. So when you're doing your massage, you want to make sure you move it. You want to make sure that you are moving the skin and that the client can feel what's happening. I've had people do my hair like this, my scalp. This is so boring. And I'm never coming back. I'm serious. I'm never coming back. I don't want to tell you how to serve me when I'm in your chair. I want to go to somebody who knows what they're doing, or who is at least going to ask. I like to ask, is this scrub okay? And if it's not, let me know. Telogen effluvium, scalp stimulation. Are y'all familiar with the high frequency wand? Yes. So the high frequency wand helps to deliver oxygen. It promotes youthful scalp and skin. You can also use the high frequency wand. People use it on their face, but you can use it on the scalp where there is somebody who has excessive oil production. It'll help to regulate the oil production in your skin, and it'll help to stimulate those follicles and deliver oxygen, which will help to regenerate hair where there should be hair. Use the wand directly on the scalp for 10 minutes per session. You do not want to exceed 10 minutes with the high frequency wand. Seborrheic dermatitis, scalp detox. There are various ways to do this, right? You can use bentonite clay. Anybody use bentonite clay? Y'all know as cosmetologists, you can create your own products. You don't want to do nothing too excessive, but when it comes to using the natural ingredients that I just mentioned, right? Essential oils, bentonite clay masks, you can do that. Aloe vera is a hydrator. When you learn more about these products, you know how to use them, when to use them, they can greatly benefit your client. And guess what? That's a custom mask. That's easily $50 to $75 upsell on your ticket. We still talking about making money. You get paid for the information that you know and for the results that you deliver to your clients. So you can apply this mixture directly to wet or dry scalp. Sit with the cap under the dryer for 10 minutes. Rinse, shampoo, and style. Simple. You're going to tell your client, let me know how this works for you. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't work, guess what? You can try something else next time. But you get that information and you learn how to work these ingredients and you can help your clients. Eczema, we can do a hot oil treatment. That's an oldie but a goodie. Y'all do hot oil treatments in here? No?
How do you do yours?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I tell you right here. So I get an olive oil. You can use any kind of base oil, but I like olive oil, jojoba, argan oil, and avocado oil. They penetrate the hair well. However, with the olive oil, it's a heavier oil, so it's going to give more protection to the scalp. And I specifically said that for eczema because eczema is a dry scalp condition. But I just I make a whole bottle, so I use it for various things. But I will apply it directly to the scalp. You can do this before or after. It depends on how you feel. Sometimes you can do both. You can do it before, then shampoo, because you don't want to strip the scalp too much. It really all depends. You know what I'm saying? You tailor your treatments to whatever your client has going on. But you can use it. So let's say I'm going to shampoo the client. And when I'm done, I'll put a conditioner on the strands. And then I'll part through I put it in a nozzle. And I just apply it directly to the scalp. I massage the scalp. And I sit them under the dryer with the cap or under the steamer without a cap. Yeah. And then you rinse it. Sometimes if they're so let's say I'm doing this to somebody and she wants a silk press. It's going to be extremely oily. So then what I do is when I rinse them, I take some shampoo in my hands and I just rub it along the strands, but I don't shampoo the scalp again. And then that way you free the strands of that excess oil. You're welcome. Psoriasis, scalp exfoliation. Have y'all been hearing about this one?
Yeah.
Scalp exfoliations are pretty common now. So with the scalp exfoliation, you want to use an ingredient. I named some of them, but like coal tar. Coal tar is really, really good for psoriasis. You want to apply the solution directly to wet or dry scalp before shampooing. So this before the shampoo means that you're going to wet the scalp and then apply the coal tar. Sit under the dryer for 10 minutes, rinse, shampoo, and style. Easy. Your client's going to be like, oh my God, that was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people know that the information because people are researching. You got YouTube, you got ChatGPT, you got Google, all of these things. So sometimes they have the information, but they don't know what you know. So they don't know how to utilize the information. You know what I'm saying? Always know that you have something that sets you apart, okay? I cannot shampoo my hair like you can shampoo it. It's not going to feel the same. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we come to the salon environment for the experience. It feels good to sit down and relax and, oh my God, this is amazing. That's what I want my experience to be. Y'all like my little owl? She's so cute. Why does this matter to you, right? And down at the bottom, your clients trust you more than they trust the medical professionals. The first person that they're going to look to when they find that their hair is shedding excessively is you. When they find hair loss, they're going to be looking for you to give them the answers. Man, Rocky, I noticed this right here. What happened? What could that be? Sometimes I had a client tell me, what are you doing? Whoa. I was offended. I'm like, girl, you came to me with this hair loss. It's continuing. I'm trying. I don't know what to do. We trying to figure it out. So all of this is important because you want your clients to trust you. What is your role? Your role as a cosmetologist and a service provider, right, is to consult with your clients. You want to ask them questions and you want to listen to them. Hey, so how are you? What kind of shampoo have you been using? You know what I'm saying? Do you have an itchy scalp? How do you detangle? You know what I'm saying? When you notice certain things, knowing the questions to ask. When I see breakage on my clients, I'm like, so how do you detangle? Walk me through your shampoo process. What does that look like for you? You are an educator. Direct your clients to the answers for their unique concerns. You have everything you need to serve your clients. And if you don't know it, you know somebody who knows. You know where to go and get the answer. You know how to research. There is nothing that you cannot get information for, even if that means you sending your clients to somebody else. My clients want ponytails, they want weaves. I don't do that. But I got a girlfriend who does. She gonna hook you up. Let me give you her number. Let me show you her Instagram. Your client is your partner, okay? And your client is your partner because we don't know what they're doing when they go home. So if you're telling me that your goal is hair growth, and every time you come back to me, your hair is breaking off more and more and more, okay, what are we doing? What's happening at home? What are you using? And it's your responsibility to come back and report to me because I want to know, did you try that thing I told you? Did you do it? How did it go? What was it like? You know, so we are partners. It is their responsibility to make sure that they maintain the care that you are offering them or that you are giving them. You are a caregiver. Style with integrity and help them to get to an improved state. Okay. Styling with integrity means that you always have the health of the hair and the scalp in mind when you styling. Period. Yes, you can get this color, but we probably shouldn't go that light. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we can do this haircut, but maybe we shouldn't use the razor. You know what I'm saying? There are so many different things that you can offer your client, and you are a confidant. Be trustworthy. Make sure you keep their secrets. Make sure that you connect with them. The young lady has said something about the client who was stressed out about school. Have you ever been stressed out? What are some of the things that you have done to de-stress? What kind of recommendations can you offer this person? So in summary, your clients will look to you for information about the health of their hair and scalp before they reach out to any medical professional. The theory knowledge and the ability to communicate it is vital to your productivity and to your client loyalty. Client education builds trust. Trust equals clients for life, which also equals consistent income. Elevate yourself constantly. As cosmetologists, they always teaching us to continue to educate ourselves. And so that's going to be extremely, extremely important. I did all that trichology training, y'all. I don't get no CEUs for that. I wish I did, but I still had to go and, you know what I'm saying, get the training that I need in order to serve my clients well, in order to be able to develop myself better personally and as a professional. We never stop growing. Even if you decide at some point that this ain't what you want to do, you're going to continue to learn. You're going to continue to grow, continue to get information. So let's stay connected. Here is all of my information, my phone number, my email address, my website, my Instagram, and my YouTube, which is still kind of under construction. Y'all bear with me. I enjoyed this today, and I'm hoping that you were able to really just get some good information and know that you are the expert. When you get out here, sometimes it's intimidating because you're going to be dealing with women who've been going to the salon longer than you've been born. Okay? I had a lady tell me, because I was like, Miss Jen, you need a trim. She was like, trim? I'm like, yeah. She was like, girl, I don't need no trim. I said, okay, well, I said, you roll your hair at night? She said, yeah. I said, so you know how when you roll your hair, you get them hairs, them little bitty hairs that's coming out the roller? She looked, she said, yeah. I said, if I trim you, that won't happen. She came back to me. It was like pulling teeth. She ended up getting a trim. She came back to me and she said, girl, she said, I got to tell you, I left here like, that little girl don't know what she talking about. Mind you, I was a grown woman, but you know, I was a little girl to her. That little girl don't know what she talking about. She said, Rakia, I don't have those little strands in my roll. I said, girl, I told you. You have to make your clients a believer. But you're going to use the knowledge that you have. Don't just tell them because that's the way I do it or because that's how it's supposed to be done. Some of us do that. I worked with them. I know how they communicate to these clients. You want your clients to trust you. You want them to know that you know your stuff. That's important. Opportunities to work with me. Okay. So I dive into personal and professional development. I talk a lot about products, tools, and techniques and how to build and retain your clientele and be a business. I do virtual and in-person workshops, mentorship opportunities, and I am expanding my business. So I'm looking to help to develop the next generation of beauty professionals, regardless of what your niche may be, because that's what we're doing a lot of times. We're niching down. That's fine. I know that there are people out here who can do a full head of box braids and that client come back and they still got hair on their head. That's possible. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. I look forward to coming back and doing more of this with you guys. Thank y'all. Does anybody have any questions, any comments? Go ahead.
How does your mentor opportunity? How does that, like, how do you go about that?
So when you say how do you go about it, like how do you sign up or like what that process is like?
How do I like stay connected with them? Like, do you have like a community where you post?
So I do Instagram. I do have Facebook. On my website, there is it's only the now hiring. You can DM me if you want to. You can send me a text message. You know what I'm saying? And I can definitely give you any information that you need about any of those things. Anybody else have any questions? No? Anybody in here want to choose a niche? Or do y'all just feel like y'all want to do everything? Yeah? No? So what's...
But I definitely want to know how to deal with everything that you talked about today. I feel like that's so important, knowing how to cater to someone's scalp, someone's natural hair, like under these weaves, wig braids, like knowing when a person comes in and they have brittle or damage, so they got real bad scalp problem, anything. I want to know how to tackle that the right way, and I want to know how to explain it and talk about it and give my clients information on it, tell them what to go home and get. I just be telling them drink water and take hair vitamins.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to expand on that.
Yeah. Hair vitamins ain't always the thing you want to recommend. Because they may not need that particular vitamin. And when you're doing something in excess, you know, you can end up offsetting something else. So it's always important to find out what the issue is, because it could be something that you can help them with mechanically. You know, so if a client has breakage, that's not always going to be something that's internal. That's something that's happening on the outside. And if you can talk to your clients by using the knowledge that you have, you know what their hair strand is made up of. You know about the scalp, okay? You know what the different causes of dandruff are. And if you don't know them, you know somebody who does know them, right? I know some stuff. And you know where to go and get the information. You just have to go and get it. There are times when clients come to me and I'm like, man, okay, she got this dandruff. I don't know what to do about it. So I'm in the beauty supply store, like, I need something for dandruff. What is this? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just reading everything. That's another thing too. When using the products, you want to make sure that you tell your clients, because they use some of everything. that when they out here buying these products, read the label. You telling me that your hair need moisture, but you went and bought a protein treatment. That don't make sense. But your client don't know that because she was watching somebody's YouTube video and that's what they recommended. You know what I'm saying? So you have the knowledge. You know what to do. But when you get out here and you really start like serving clients, that's when all of the pieces kind of come together. You know what I'm saying? But I'm if you have any questions, like you can text me and say, hey, I had this client. You can send me some pictures. I don't mind helping. I don't mind helping anybody in here. So y'all done? That's it. That's it then. Thank y'all. I appreciate this so much.